Good morning. Welcome. We're glad that you are here. I'd like to read just a little bit of a Bible story, again from Growing in God's Love. This is one of the creation stories about when God created the earth. Long ago, God made the very first person who ever lived. God took the best, richest, darkest, thickest soil from the ground. God shaped this soil into someone who looked like you and me. Then God breathed God's own breath into this person. The first person took the first breath ever. The first breath ever. We've talked a lot about breath in these last few months. This virus that can take someone's breath away and make it hard for them to breathe. The police officer who took away George Floyd's breath. It can feel pretty sad and scary, and it is. But what we know is that God loves us. God created us. God breathed breath into us. And we are worthy of love. God counts each one of us, as this story reminds us in the book Who Counts. God searches for each of us and cares about each of us. God created each of us to be uniquely and wonderfully who we are. As this story reminds us, when God made you, and God asks us to love one another. This is something that we've also talked a lot about this summer. We had our week of compassion camp when we learned about what it means to be compassionate with each other and what it means to love our neighbors. But you know, and you've probably seen that loving our neighbors is not something that we humans are always good at doing, especially when our neighbors are different from us. It can feel really easy to say, I love my neighbor, but actually loving them and caring for them can be really difficult. So, what do? Something that we can start with is learning about and listening to stories of people who are different from us. When we hear stories from someone who's different from us, we can learn about their lives and hear about how they live in the world. For me, as a white woman, it's important for me to search for and listen to stories from people of color. For example, in this book, the character doesn't look like me, but I can still find it a meaningful and special story. And it's important for me to look for books that have characters who are not like me. Because there's already quite a few stories with people who look like me. So, learning and listening is one piece of what we can do. And later in the service, we'll hear about a book that some of the adults and older youth in our church are reading together. And below, we'll have a list of tons of books that you can read too. The next thing that we can remember is that we will make mistakes. This happens, we're people, and we mess up sometimes. The important thing to remember is that when we make mistakes, we apologize and we remember that mistake for next time. And we keep trying and we keep learning. This is something that happens to me all the time when I'm learning about people who are different from me. I make mistakes. I say the wrong thing. I hurt someone's feelings, maybe by accident, and it can feel uncomfortable. But that is also part of how we learn. And we can apologize, remember our mistake, and keep going. Another piece of what we can do is to take those things that we've learned and listened to and bring our voices out into the world. This might mean making some signs or sidewalk chalk drawings for your house. I have a sign that says Black Lives Matter. It might mean writing a letter to elected officials who represent you. It might mean speaking out when you see someone being treated unfairly and using your voice. There are so many ways that we can learn and listen and take action. And these are just a few. So, what's one thing that you can do today to love your neighbor? Thanks for joining me.